Welcome to the Read Conmigo podcast, where we help you raise bilingual, bicultural, and kind-hearted kids. Get inspired with real-life stories of students, educators, and parents sharing their bilingual journey and how they're making a difference today. I'm Frances Barajas, and I'm your host. You're listening to episode 10 of the Read Conmigo podcast, brought to you by Infiniti, a Kemper company. This week, I am joined by Hilda Atuncar. She is one of the youngest Read Conmigo authors, and she has an incredible story that I think many of us can relate to. Hilda is the daughter of immigrant parents from Peru and the first one to go to college in her family. She graduated from UCLA with a bachelor's degree in psychology, and she's currently enrolled at USC in their pre-med program. Hilda dreams of becoming a doctor and paying it forward to her community. In this episode in particular, she talks about her experience as a first-generation college student. She gives tips for parents who want to encourage their kids to go to college, and why it's so important for kids to be reading today. Hilda is a wonderful testament of what it means to really pursue your dreams and to not give up, and I'm just so inspired by her story, and I hope that you are as well. With that said, let's get started. Welcome to the show, Hilda. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
To get started, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself so that our Read Conmigo families can get to know you?
Right. So my name is Hilda Atuncar and I am 22 years old. I recently graduated from UCLA.
Yay!
I know, go Bruins! I graduated last year, and since then I've been enrolled at the USC post-bac pre-med program. So I'm just fulfilling some of the pre-med work, coursework there. So meanwhile, I've been doing that. I've been interning at the UCLA Mobile Eye Clinic at the Stein Eye Institute. And there are other clinics I've been interning at, but basically, doing some clinical experience here and there.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Chicano-Latino pipeline.
Oh, yes.
So maybe some of our audience is not familiar, but according to the UCLA Chicano Students Research Center, out of 100 elementary students that come out of a class, 8 graduate with the bachelor's degree, 2 go on to graduate with the graduate degree, and then 0.2 graduate with the doctoral degree. Mm-hmm. So congratulations, because you're helping, have more Latinos in higher education. Yeah. So I'm super excited.
Really? Yeah.
When I learned that, you were studying to get your medical school and to become a pediatrician,
right.
I was just so excited because you don't hear, that many.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't really see when you go to the doctor's office, it's always either a Caucasian male, and you really can't be able to have a really nice conversation with, someone who can't really relate to some of the problems that we have.
Or even the language barrier.
Or exactly.
I know that for my mom, like when she goes to the doctor, she likes to have somebody that speaks Spanish.
Right.
And so you'll be able to help.
Exactly. Growing up, you had to be the interpreter, and you had to grow up and mature real quick. There's a lot of big words thrown at you.
So do you speak Spanish as well?
Yes. I'm bilingual.
And how did you learn Spanish?
It was actually my first language. So at elementary school, I had to learn English through the ESL program at Nueva Vista, and it was hard. It was hard learning a language that's not spoken at home, and no one at home to help you learn that second language.
Did you ever do some schooling in Spanish, or was it just like what your parents were teaching you at home?
Exactly. My parents just teaching me at home. And in the dialect, it's a little different because we're Peruvians. So there's a lot of little differences that just make a big difference because large population of the Hispanics is like Mexican. So definitely just little words here and there that can't be translated to some other.
Yes, I love that about Spanish, that it's so diverse even within the language. So if you are from Peru, if you're from Mexico, if you're from Spain, depending on what area you live in, it's a total different vocabulary.
It's beautiful, though. It's a beautiful language. I love it.
That's great. So do you think that being bilingual has helped you in your education? I know you mentioned that it was a challenge a little bit to learn English, but now that you have both languages, do you feel that has been a benefit?
I think absolutely, because at the end of the day, I just want to pay it forward to the community. And so my community speaks Spanish, so I'm going to speak their language. So
That's great.
What I want to do.
And so what inspired you that, to want to become a pediatrician and to work with children and go into the medical field?
Right. At first, I wanted to do medical law, which is like completely in a different, field of work. But I started doing a lot of clinical work. I worked at like hospitals, and I eventually just fell in love with just treating the person with the disease. So rather than like behind the scenes lawsuits, I felt like I was treating a person, which I felt was really beautiful.
That's really amazing. So when you were little, you were not dreaming of being a doctor.
Not at all.
So it's something you discovered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I joined debate teams, tournaments, but I fell in love with medicine.
And do you think your parents helped contribute kind of like that passion for education?
I don't think so at all. Growing up, they just wanted me to settle with a job that pays and has a good title, as most parents would want us to. So they never really considered me having achieved my dream of getting a college degree. Like, they only expected me to have, a little bit lower expectations of me because of the community we come from. We're not given a lot of opportunities. Mm-hmm. So they were realistic about that.
So they didn't, in their minds, they didn't want you to,
right,
set your eyes on something that was too high. Okay. And how are they now that they see you? You're going to UCLA, now you're going to USC.
I think it hit them because back in high school, I won a Nordstrom scholarship, $10,000, and they called my parents and they told them, like, hey, we're going to go surprise her with, like, a big scholarship check. This is happening. And my parents were, like, really happy because they were worried about the financial aspect to college, but thankfully scholarships started rolling in and they were like a little bit more supportive of my dreams.
I love that you mentioned that because a lot of times we don't think about that. When parents, they worry about the expensive student loans. You hear a lot about that now.
There are ways to, finance your education. You don't really have to resort to loans. Even if you do have to resort to loans, it's there's help out there, a lot of resources to help you throughout the process. A lot of counselors can help you with that. But there are also a bunch of scholarships, and it's just free money rolling around. So just look it up or contact me if you ever need scholarships that you need to apply for, personal statements that need to be read and all that. I find the process very rewarding.
Yeah,
obviously.
I'm so happy to hear that because there are resources out there.
Exactly.
That's what we want to do with this podcast is to be able to connect you with the resources that we have in the community. And so I'm so happy to hear that you did it. You went to apply. You got a $10,000 scholarship, and you're able to use that to support your schooling.
Exactly,
and that's amazing. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Hey, Conmigo family, we want to take a short break to thank our sponsor, Infiniti, a Kemper company, for promoting bilingual literacy and helping families save hundreds of dollars on auto insurance. We know the cost of raising a family can add up quickly. That's why Infiniti offers 3 standard options to all of our Conmigo podcast listeners. You can customize your coverage to fit your needs, so whether your budget is limited and you need to meet state minimum requirements or you want the best protection possible, Infiniti has you covered. Get your free auto insurance quote online today at Conmigo.org/podcast or give us a call at 833-265-7024. Again, that is 833-265-7024. Thank you, and now back to our episode. And what do you think parents can do? I know that your parents, wanted you to kind of have realistic expectations, but parents that want their kids to go to college, how can they encourage them? How can they prepare them?
Right. Well, have them join a lot of extracurriculars. I think that once you enter college, you're not always set on exactly what you want to do, what occupation, like the major that you have is not going to dictate what you want to do in the future. Mm-hmm. So definitely explore, be able to have a different experiences. Back in high school, that's where you can start testing the waters for a lot of areas. Definitely, volunteer at hospitals if you're interested in, clinical work in the future. But definitely parents should encourage their students no matter what path they take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's great. And what would you say was your experience? Because I know you mentioned first generation college student.
Right.
how was that for you? Was it hard? How did you learn? I know that, going from a small high school to going to UCLA, which is one of the largest universities in the country, I just can't imagine what it was like on your first day and try to figure it out. How did that go?
There are people with similar backgrounds, similar experiences. So having them to help you, support you throughout the process is really nice. Find peers who have similar career interests as well, because you guys can, find similar internships and all that. But definitely, I had no one to ask, hey, what should I do? What kind of classes to take? My parents would be like, what? I don't know. You should know this. So, definitely there are a lot of resources in whatever college you go to. There are always, some clubs there too.
Yeah, so get connected. So I think that's what I'm hearing from you.
Right.
Make sure you reach out, talk to your counselors. And if your kids are getting ready to go to college, or if you were first college generation student as well, get connected and have community, because I think that definitely helps.
Yes. Have a sense of community. Yeah, exactly.
To lead your journey with. That's great to know. Okay, and so the way that we came to know Hilda was through the UCLA Mobile Eye Clinic, and we collaborated on a new book. And Hilda was one of the ones that helped write the story. Right. And so we want to know what inspired you to write Everything Looks Fuzzy, and what do you want kids to take away from the book?
So the UCLA Mobile Eye Clinic, a little bit about them is we basically go to other community organizations, elementary schools, just community centers in general that are in underserved communities, like in South Central. And so we basically set up health fairs and have free eye screenings for children or adults at times. And so we just want to stress the importance of eye health, because we need our eyes for everything, especially children. That definitely has a correlation to academic success.
Yes.
Because if you have a child who can't perform that well in class, it's probably not entirely because of, competency, but it may be because of their eyes, they just don't know what's wrong. Maybe to them that's normal. And it's better to find out about that at an early age. So definitely the book is about, eye health and being able to inform others that, little things that need to be avoided when you're taking care of your eyes. Definitely hygiene and diet, and if there are problems with your vision, just go ahead and see an ophthalmologist or an optometrist. So
Yeah, that's great that you mentioned that. Reading and education and learning, it's all tied to your vision. I believe that 80% of how we learn is done visually, and so it's really important for kids to make sure that you get your eye screen and make sure that everything's working fine with your eyes. Especially now that everyone's on their phones, and little kids like to have their tablet or like to spend time watching videos online. So a lot of times that's more strain on their eyes. So it's important that you do go get an eye check and make sure that everything's working fine. And that was the goal with the book. And so if you haven't read it, you can download it for free on our website at Conmigo.org. And the book is bilingual, English and Spanish, so that anyone can read it. And if you're trying to raise bilingual kids, which is our goal here with the podcast, it's going to be a great resource for you. And with Conmigo, we try to kind of provide all these resources for the family. And how important do you think it is to have programs like Infiniti's Conmigo program to be able to give this to the families?
Right. I think it's very important, because growing up, I wasn't able to bridge both languages. So having books like this with such an important message could have maybe impacted me into a better me, definitely, because I love reading books, and I felt like the process would have been a lot more effective and easier learning both languages, because some words I can't translate into Spanish or in English too. So it's always nice to start at an early age.
Yes, especially when learning a second language. The studies show that the earlier you start, just the easier it is to actually learn them.
Yeah.
Not that you can learn them when you're older, but it's just a lot easier when you're younger.
There's just like a window in your brain for you to be able to learn a lot better, you know. But don't learn too many languages either.
We have heard cases of people learn a lot of languages, but that's great.
Yeah.
And so why do you think it's important to, you know, raise bilingual kids in today's society?
Well, I mean, sometimes our jobs kind of require it, and sometimes the people that we service speak Spanish. So it's very important for us to have both languages. And I think there's also something about like it being your identity. So definitely I carry Spanish with me everywhere I go, proudly, of course. I'm not going to hide the fact that I speak such a beautiful language with such beautiful history and heritage. So definitely want to go ahead and carry it very proudly.
That's good you mentioned that, because language is connected to identity.
Exactly.
And when you learn the language, even if you notice it when you're little kids, as they're learning Spanish, they just have this sense of pride. I see it with my siblings. I see it with the kids that we work with when you know they start picking up Spanish or another language. It doesn't have to be Spanish, but they start connecting the culture and the heritage, and it just makes it just a full experience for them. And if they travel to Mexico or another country where they're, you know, speaking a different language, it really helps them to just be able to kind of really take it all in. So we definitely encourage raising bilingual kids if it's possible, especially if you have maybe parents that have another language that taught you another language, whether that's Spanish or that's something else. Because we do get requests for lots of languages. Yeah.
Great. No.
And hopefully one day we'll be able to provide more. But for now, Spanish is our focus. What is one thing that parents can do to help their kids preserve their culture as well? I know you mentioned that your parents were from Peru.
Right.
And then obviously you're here in the States. So how did you kind of bridge the culture of
food? Food, exactly. Yeah, no, my parents would cook Peruvian cuisines every dinner. So there's just my favorites, ají de gallina.
Delicious.
So, yeah, it's like shredded chicken with like a yellow sauce. It's really good. I totally recommend it. So yeah, definitely food. Keep that in their, you know, in their daily lives, because it's something they can carry with them and maybe teach them a thing or two about cooking it so they can pass it on, you know, generations.
I love that, especially because who doesn't love food? And there's more than just tacos.
Right.
There's lots more other options that you can explore, and it's a great way to incorporate culture. So that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Hey, Rico Conmigo family. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Rico Conmigo podcast. We're going to take a quick break, but we will be right back after this message from our sponsor.
Carlitos, Grandpa's here.
¡Feliz cumpleaños, mijo!
Gracias, abuelito. Vamos a jugar.
¡Vamos, mijo, vamos!
Carlitos is speaking Spanish so well.
Yes, he loves the books Read Conmigo from Infiniti.
Infiniti Auto Insurance?
Yes, they offer free bilingual books and games online and also on their mobile app. That's how we help him practice his Spanish.
And talk to Dad.
Absolutely.
Infiniti gives you free bilingual resources to teach your children to read in English and Spanish. Read together. Read Conmigo.
Be sure to visit readconmigo.org for free bilingual resources and call Infiniti at 833-265-7024 to save on your auto insurance. That's 833-265-7024. Thanks to our sponsor for that message. Now back to Hilda. And so, let's see, to wrap up, we're going to do a segment called This or That. And so we're going to ask you, do you have to choose between the two options? Okay. And so, do you prefer a paper book or an audiobook?
A paper book. Something about just having the print in front of you that just, I don't know, gets my brain more focused, right? And then it doesn't strain your eyes as much as, you know, the ebooks would be. And I don't know, I just more traditional about that.
More old school. Yes. So with Rico Conmigo, we have both options. We have the paper book that you can order and get mailed to your home. And then we also have the ebook, which you can download to a tablet, to a computer, or a cell phone. And then we have them in app format so you can hear the audio. So you get to pick, but I think I agree. I do love the printed physical book that you can have and hold. Okay, let's move on to introvert or extrovert?
I like to be an extrovert in some social situations. I love making friends. I mean, there's no harm in saying, hey, can I sit with you? Or just, getting a name, learning some interests, some commonalities between both. I think that's really wonderful. Human connections, nothing wrong with that. But it's nothing wrong with being an introvert either. I have both sides too. But
Yes, I definitely think that with Latino cultures, I think because of the sense of community with drama and just everyone, you're kind of more used to being around people and you get fueled by the energy of those get-togethers with the family, playing loteria or whatever it may be.
It's never quiet in there.
Yes. So, tea or coffee?
I like coffee. I don't know, something about tea. I like tea when... I don't know, I have to be honest. I actually don't. I can't. Coffee just wakes me up.
Is there a special kind that you drink or?
No, not really. I literally, the coffee that I have is coffee flavored milk, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's hardly any, caffeine in it.
It's a sweet version. Yeah. Okay, and then two more. Reading or writing?
Ooh, I like to read a little bit more than writing, only because there is always something that I never think of that's another author probably thought of. So I always like that language of an exchange of information, because we don't know everything, and it's always nice to be able to hear someone else's thoughts, or like a different manner of, I don't know, organizing a sentence even. So.
Right. Yeah, there's a whole new world to discover when you start reading and different stories. And we always tell parents, if your child is not into reading, maybe it's because they haven't found the right book. Right. And you have to kind of find something that interests them to spark that love for reading. And then last question, UCLA or USC?
Oh, okay. Well, walking around the USC campus, I don't know. I feel like UCLA, the logo is literally plastered on my forehead. So I don't know. Go Bruins. I don't know. I'm not a Trojan just yet. Oh gosh.
And we're asking because she's gone to school. She did her bachelor's at UCLA, and now she's at USC. So great. Okay, so moving on to our second segment, and this is called Favorite Picks of the Day. Oh. And I'm going to ask you your favorite advice, favorite quote, or favorite app. Okay. Which one do you want to start with?
Favorite quote.
Okay.
So let's see. Volunteers are paid in six figures. SMILES.
Aw, how cute.
I don't know who it's from. It's not mine. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then what was the other option?
Oh, favorite advice you received.
Let's see. I mean, you're always going to be competing with yourself, not with others. So go at your own pace. Go on your own path, right? You don't want to be a follower. Just be your own leader.
That's great. Especially I feel nowadays with social media and the internet, and everyone's so connected, and it's so easy to kind of compare yourself or compare your journey. And that's great advice. There's no one that you're competing except yourself, and how to better yourself, how to improve, and how to keep going. So, and then favorite app or tool that you're into right now?
Well, because med school requires us to take the MCAT, I'm literally always on Khan Academy, which is really an amazing resource for students of all ages.
Oh, that's great.
Always look out for those.
Is it an app?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So you can choose what subject you want to study for. Even if it's the SAT, they even have preparation tools there for you, and it's free.
That's awesome.
I know.
Yeah, we love free stuff. That's why our program is free. So, what is one tip that you for parents that want to raise bilingual, bicultural, and kind-hearted kids?
Right. Well, I think parenting is really, really important. My parents are both janitors, so I definitely grew up learning to value money and to be able to respect anyone of any occupation, whether they're cleaning the trash or whether they're leading a conference meeting. So I definitely feel like whatever morals or values you have, just send your kids in the right direction. Don't stress them to, I don't know, like I never felt pressured to think a certain way. With my family, I was very, able to think in various ways, which is really great because you don't want to be constrained to just think in a certain way in a box. So let them be a little bit more liberated, don't limit them. And always encourage them to read and take care of their eye health.
Yes, that was a lot of tips, and they were all very good. I love, respecting everyone regardless of what their occupation may be or their status. Everyone has the same value. We're all human, and so that's great, especially because kids learn since they're little. They start learning these things and start
like sponges.
Yes. So however you act, it's how the kids are gonna respond. And then you mentioned reading, of course. We're huge fans of reading here. We think that. Reading is really important. It helps you not just in your career, but in everything in life. And then you mentioned taking care of your eyesight, especially for this new generation, because all the cell phones and computers, we have to take care of our eyesight.
Exactly.
And then last question, why do you think reading is important?
Well, like I said, there's always someone out there who has a different thought of you, of something. So you always want to go ahead and take that information, maybe have your own perspective of it, develop your own sense of opinion of something. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So definitely that, just taking some information and just developing thoughts, interpretations of the world and stuff. So definitely want to spread literacy, bilingual literacy specifically, because one way that's, the way something is said in Spanish can be completely different. That could be misinterpreted in English. So definitely learning both ways or more languages even can expand the mind.
Well, thank you so much for being with us here today. Where can our Read Conmigo families follow you or follow your journey or keep in touch?
You can just follow me on Instagram. It's Hilda.Atuncar. So that's, just follow my journey as I'm on my way to becoming a pediatrician.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We hope that you learned something new today and that you're inspired by Hilda's story. And, we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Read Conmigo podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode and found it helpful. For the show notes or additional episodes, visit readconmigo.org/podcast. Be sure to take a screenshot of the episode, share it on social media, and mention @Read Conmigo for a chance to win bilingual books. We're selecting 5 people every week. We would also greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And lastly, thank you to Infiniti, a Kemper company, for sponsoring our podcast. Call Infiniti at 833-265-7024. That is 833-265-7024 to start saving on your auto insurance today. Gracias y hasta pronto.